Welcome to Retirement Ramblings. I'm Scott, and today is day 244 in my countdown to retirement, plus a catch up from yesterday, day 245. So, starting off with yesterday, my morning commute took over an hour because it rained overnight and the roads were slick, caused additional accidents and such. But, people were driving slower than normal, to be a little safer, but the commute sucked. So things cleared up. So while I was at work, I decided I wanted to get some fresh air because my office doesn't have any windows. So I went down to get a cup of ice from our break room. And then adjacent to the break room is a door to be able to go outside. And we have we have a koi pond out there as well as like a seating area. So I walked outside. I went to the koi pond. We used to have, gosh, 30, 40, maybe even 50 fish in there at one point. But it looks like we've, over the time since I've been back to the office, or since I've been back to the office, that number has dwindled where there's like 3 or 4 decent sized fish in there, and all the other ones aren't there anymore. And we have a netting over the top because there's a bunch of birds, and I don't know whether they're falcons or some other bird that swoops down and gets the koi's, and they're expensive to replace. So I'm sure that's what the netting is for. Anyway, went down there. Then I fought my way home at the end of the day. In an even worse commute that took me just shy of 2 hours to get home. And then once I was home, I cooked a flank steak and grilled up a couple of chicken thighs on the grill. And then once once the meal was cooked, I sat down and started perusing some of my favorite sites. And I came upon 2 charts that I found interesting from Arbor Data Science. And so one was an image of the US that was showing the average annual cost of home insurance. And it ranged from a high in Florida at $15,460 for an annual policy to a low in Vermont of $1,248. Louisiana was the second highest state behind Florida at $13,937. So I'm guessing that it's because of damage that's caused by hurricanes that come and either hit the Florida peninsula or come up the Gulf and come into Louisiana. But I was really surprised to see that California was pretty low at $2,930, especially given all the wildfires. So I don't know about the accuracy of the chart, but that's what it said. Next was a chart showing the comparison of the U.S. Treasury bill, Treasury, I'll just call them U.S. Treasuries, because it goes from the bills to the notes to the bonds, so the whole curve. It was showing a comparison of what it was like on April 30th, 2024 versus April 30th, 2025. And while the entire curve is down, in the last year, the belly of the curve is really down significantly from what it was a year ago. The long end, while down, is not really down significantly. And then on the short end, again, it's down, but it's anything from the 4-week to the 26-week, or the 1 month to the 6 month. While it is down, it's staying fairly consistent, I guess, as people are waiting to see when the Fed starts to cut, because when they cut, it affects the short-term rates more so than the long end. Anyway, I've been staying in the 13, 17-week and 26-week sections of the curve whenever I have a renewal of a T-bill, because unlike the professionals out there who keep thinking that we're going to have a rate cut starting next month, I just don't think that's the case. And so as I have things come up like I recently did, and I have some stuff coming up next week, they'll all be they'll all be repurchased, in a sub 6 month window. I just don't know which duration it'll be. On Monday, there's going to be a 13-week auction, so I'll check to see how the rates are doing there, whether it stays in the 4.3% range or not, and then I'll make a decision on what I'm going to do for the ones that are coming due next week. And then I came upon a post in LinkedIn on 60 AI tools that can help you replace a bunch of tedious work. And while I'm not going to read the list to you, I will include the list for those interested in the description below this video. So, and it's categorized by various topics like productivity and images, etc. So if you're interested, just go to the bottom or go to the description of the video, and it'll all be there. And then you can, go check out any of the apps that are there if you so choose. I haven't gone through the list to validate, any of them. I use several of the ones on the list, but clearly not all 60 of them. And then, then I was just too darn tired by the end of the day. And it was getting late, so that's why I didn't do an update yesterday, and I just decided I'd roll it into today's update. So, that being said, let me move on to today's update. So for day 244. So today I had a bunch of calls stacked up in the morning, starting with my team in Latvia, and then ending with my team in Atlanta. So pretty much until 1:30 I was stacked up with meetings. Then as soon as I was done with the meetings, I ran out to Kroger because I needed to pick up a variety of items today there. And normally they have their 4x fuel points, but for some reason today they decided they were going to cut it down to 2x. So I didn't get as many fuel points as I wanted, but it is what it is. Then when I got back, because I hadn't eaten yet, I made another flank steak on the grill, and that was my lunch. And then while I was out by the grill, I noticed that one of our plants that's adjacent to the grill had bloomed today. And I really like the color combination of this particular plant. I know my wife knows what it is. I don't know what the plant is. I'm going to guess it's a lily, but I could be wrong. So if you guys know what it is, let me know. Anyway, and then while I was eating, I was perusing the apps, and I saw a chart on Seeking Alpha that was regarding the manufacturing trend line between 1980 and now. And effectively what the chart shows is that we've reduced the number of employees in manufacturing jobs between 1980 and now by approximately 33%. And the biggest drop happened in 2010, and we've rebounded slightly since then. But net, we're down like over 6 million manufacturing jobs. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then I also saw a set of graphs from CNBC, also on LinkedIn, that showed the overall payroll growth since 2022 until now, and the unemployment rate from 2021 until now. And then that was followed by a post on LinkedIn highlighting the movement and the duration of bull markets and bear markets. And that chart, in my opinion, clearly shows why you kind of set your strategy, and as long as you believe in your strategy, you just stay there and and basically let it ride. You basically stay the course no matter what, because the bull markets clearly outweigh the bear markets, both in velocity and duration. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. And then for dinner, I steamed up some shrimp and put some Old Bay seasoning on it, and I ate that, and it wasn't enough. So then I made a couple of pork chops fried up in butter, and I ate those, and that became then the rest of my dinner. And then I started watching Closing Bell, and while I was watching it, there was something that came up that reminded me that tomorrow is the Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting, and I love listening to Buffett. Unfortunately, it's not as interesting as when Charlie Munger was still there, but I do appreciate listening also to Ajit Jain, less so listening to Greg Abel, who will be Buffett's successor just because of the talking style. But I really appreciate that meeting. I like his shareholder letter, which I always read. And anyway, I made sure to record it because it starts on CNBC at 8:30 tomorrow morning, and I believe it goes through like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And not all of that is the Q&A session that Buffett sits there, but generally speaking, he spends a couple of hours answering questions from the audience, and I love the Q&A session. So I'm recording the whole thing, and then I'll just speed through the stuff I don't care about, obviously, and then I'll just listen to the Q&A. But really looking forward to that tomorrow. And as always on Saturdays, I do my annual or my weekly portfolio review, and then because it's the end of the month, my wife sent me our updated net worth report and our updated expense report. So I'll also probably go into Bolden tomorrow, update our financial plan for retirement, see how that is tracking, and just kind of see where we are. I know that we've recovered substantially since April 8th when the market tanked. I know we're not back all the way to where we were, but I know we've come up, significantly from where we were on that day. Anyway, that's my update for today. If you have any questions or any comments, please leave them in the comment section down below, or drop me an email at myretirementramblings@gmail.com. Otherwise, I hope you have a great evening, and until tomorrow, take care.